Story 1. So I'm still laughing about this situation. It literally just happened today, August 20th at 9 a.m. I went to Walmart to get some meat and diapers, and then went to check the gaming section to see if they had a discount on some games I wanted. I noticed they had the first PlayStation 5 I had seen in the wild since the launch in the cage there. I thought, oh, that's great. I already have one, but I could make some money flipping that or something like this. I called the Walmart associate who could open the cage, and he got the unit. Unlike other items in Walmart, you have to pay right there in the electronics section. You can't go to the cashier near the door and pay. I paid $549, got my receipt, and then met Karen and her son. Right after I paid, I turned my cart and saw this boy yelling, "Oh my gosh, Mom, the PlayStation 5," and pointing at me. The lady came and asked me where I found it. I told her it was in the PlayStation cage, but I believed it was the only one they had. We had this conversation. Karen, so you said this is the last unit? Me, I believe so. Ma'am, you can ask the Walmart associate there. He overheard and yelled, "Nah, that was the last one. We just got 2 units. Spoiled child. But Mom, it's been 2 years of you telling me you would get me a PlayStation 5. Karen, so don't you want to give me yours? You're like 30, and my son will use it way more than you. Me? No, I'm sorry, but I already paid for it. Good luck in your search, though. Karen, you did not pay for it. You're not even near the cashiers. Your people don't even play video games. Me? Excuse me. My people what? What do you mean, my people? Karen, Mexicans. I know you guys. Your accent is horrible, by the way. At this moment, I thought I should pull my phone because I knew where this was going. I've seen it on the internet many times, but I never expected this to happen in a small town in New Hampshire. Me. First of all, I'm not Mexican. Secondly, we're done here. I paid for the unit, and it's mine. You can throw a tantrum, but nothing will change. Good luck. Her spoiled child jumps on the ground and begins to kick the living heck out of the floor. Karen, you're a piece of trash. My son needs this, and I'm taking it. You're not even from here. Sand N-word, this is new. Never heard that before, by the way. The dude from Walmart who helped me get the console from the cage is black. I think he thought she called him the N-word for some reason, and he starts yelling at her, "Karen, get the heck out of here." Karen puts her hand on my PlayStation 5, and I instantly push her away. She started to yell that I assaulted her, and people called the cops. She kept saying I was a sand N-word and calling me a steroid user and some other stuff. I just moved away and waited for the cops to arrive. The cop who got there was Hispanic. I told him what happened and showed the receipt of the console that I purchased with my own credit card. The Walmart dude was a total king and was on my side the whole way. She got angry and called me a sand N-word one more time in front of the cops, and they put her in cuffs. They asked if I wanted to press charges, and I was like, yes, of course. I went back and tipped the Walmart dude $1.50 because he literally had my back completely. And because I actually pushed the lady, being a 6'2" dude, it could have been bad for me. And yeah, I pressed charges on her for trying to steal my property that I had already paid for. Story 2. Hi, I work in an aquarium, and during the month of December, Santa visits and swims around the tank and talks to kids. It's an awesome thing and something different from the normal stuff around here. This event happened a week before Christmas 2019. When Santa comes to the aquarium to swim with the sharks, he brings his elves with him to help talk to the children. I was one of these elves this year, my first year and maybe my only year because of this single woman. We were doing our normal thing, and I was on the mic talking to kids and translating for Santa to hear, "Keep in mind he is in the tank." And we use special microphones and earpieces so everyone can communicate, and it's projected in the room. In between children, my manager comes up and explains that there is a young boy who is mute and just wants a picture. I'm like, yeah, sure, anything. I was honestly just happy to be there and making a buck more than my normal pay. So we get to the young boy. He's like 9 and just stared as I directed him and his mom to Scuba Santa. Mom takes the mic and talks to Santa. The mother starts speaking. "Hi Santa, this is my son. He doesn't say much, so is it okay if we just get a picture?" Of course. And then he poses for the picture. I'm standing off to the side out of the way of the picture, checking the time, as we had to get Santa a break. Air tanks only hold so much air. As I'm getting ready to call the dive team to get the new tank ready, there is a pop in my earpiece. I look up to the microphone, and the boy is holding it. Mom steps back towards me, and we all just watch. At this point, there was a small line forming, but we weren't worried about it. This was going to be the last child before the 5-minute break. Santa, hi. For Christmas, I want a truck, says the little boy. The entire room goes silent, and Mom starts crying before looking and explaining that he hasn't spoken in over 6 months. So I let him ramble to Santa for a bit. Most of it was lost because it was rambling, but the boy was loving it, and no one in line seemed to mind. This really was a Christmas miracle of sorts. Enter the entitled woman. She was in her 30s with her friends wanting a picture with Santa. Whatever, I didn't care. The boy finished his babble and went to say goodbye. This woman yells over the crowd, "If he isn't going to say real words, get him off the mic." My other elf friend was going to confront her as I was mic'd in, and whatever I would say would have been heard everywhere. But before they could get to her, Santa's voice came over the speakers. Now the fun fact about this particular Santa is that he was a no-nonsense kind of guy. And in this instance, he became my best friend. "Santa, why don't you shut your pie hole?" Now because he heard. This means she said it loud enough for my mic to pick it up and project it across the room. She was so red but stayed in line. Santa finishes with the boy, and I start my signal to Santa to let him know that he needs to go up for a new tank. "Santa, Mrs. Claus has some new cookies she wants you to try." "Now folks, Santa will be back after a short milk and cookie break," I inform them. Normally, people agree, and it's no big deal. We play games with the kids, sing a couple of songs, and before you know it, Santa is back. But today, this woman was not having it. "Oh, come on. You have a whole line here, and he's just leaving," she complains. "He'll be right back, I promise." And then I go into a song. This woman threw a fit, screaming, cursing us out, making a real scene. I had left my mic on. But while the song was playing, it wasn't projecting her, but Santa could still hear her screaming. Eventually, he came back and finally went to her in line. I reluctantly let her go up, and I stepped out of the way for a picture after she told me that if I was anywhere near the picture, she would have my head. I had security on standby, and they were ready to walk her out because I don't want that nonsense, not in my aquarium. And then the best thing happened. "Santa, now hold on here. Are you the woman that yelled at the little boy?" She just sat there, staring at him. "I'll have you know that that makes you number one on the naughty list. We need to be compassionate and nice to others. My elves here are just doing what I have instructed them to do, and you are yelling at them. That's not in the spirit of the holidays. You need to apologize to everyone you have been mean to, and then go to the end of the line and wait again. Until that is done, I am not taking a picture with a naughty person." I was hyped. The woman was a witch. She ended up storming away, screaming for a manager. I believe she found one, but was escorted out with no picture. The boy got to meet Santa out of the tank and got a super special picture with him and all his elves. He's a regular at the aquarium and likes to show us new words he's learned. It's amazing, and the diver is my favorite dude forever and always. Story 3. This story isn't mine exactly, but the situation I found myself in was. It happened a few years ago when I was working at a booth in a mall selling phone cases. There's a rumor in my town, no clue how it started, that this guy, Justin, is faking being in a wheelchair to get attention and sympathy. I know him personally and know that this rumor is not true. He was hit by a drunk driver while crossing a pedestrian crossing 10 years ago and is a paraplegic. I'm a C4-5 incomplete quadriplegic and can spot a fake disabled person easily. Anyone else with a spinal cord injury will be able to relate. I was at work and serving a customer when I saw Justin going past in his wheelchair. My customer saw him and scoffed. "Can you believe people like that? It's bad enough for people like you, but people like him. He needs to stop faking it." I was shocked, and for a second, I didn't know what to say. I was in customer service mode and didn't want to say anything that could make me lose my job. Me. That's Justin. He's a paraplegic. He's not faking it. Customer. "Oh, he has fooled you too. You poor girl." Me. "His name is Justin, and he was hit by a drunk driver 10 years ago on X Street. He was in a coma for a week and lost sensation from the waist down. If you look this up online, you'll find the report of the incident. Please do some research and don't believe everything you hear." She half-heartedly muttered some apology and walked away without buying anything. I want to say that I haven't heard any other conversations about Justin faking it. But it's a small town, and gossip spreads like wildfire here. It's been about 13 years since his injury, and for someone that's supposedly faking it, he's kept up the ruse very well. The moral of the story: don't believe everything you hear. Story 4. The story happened a few years ago in 2015. The setup: I was a screen printer. I accepted a new job at a different shop for $13 an hour. It was a slightly better wage than my old job, and the place was much nicer. Let's just call it Waldron Sports Center Apparel. They operate out of a large space in a local mall, featuring a sports joke apparel shop, a multipurpose gym, and a single automatic press in the back where they printed their stuff. Two brothers, let's call them Jake and Jarrett, own the company. Jake does most of the on-site management as Jarrett is more busy with other careers. They're running a squeaky clean M&R Diamondback press, and the shop's super well organized. It's very climate controlled, whereas my previous place was just a plain warehouse with no heat or air conditioning whatsoever that would often surpass 100-degree F. The schedule is perfect, and paychecks are directly deposited every Friday too. Another huge plus. Obviously, I'm excited. The first 2 weeks were fantastic. That second Friday, I got my first check. It seemed short, but I started the mid-pay period on sporadic hours, so whatever. 1 week later, and my next check is significantly larger, but it's off. I go to Jake and ask him about seeing my pay stubs. He tells me that all of that is handled through an outside company, but Jarrett should have gotten my login info by then. He'll be back on Monday. I asked the other printer there if that was normal with the pay stubs, and he said not really, but vouched for the two, saying they probably just forgot. First thing Monday, I go to Jarrett and ask about the pay stubs, who tells me that's actually Jake's responsibility to make sure I get the info I need. Okay, what the heck? So I go back to him and ask him about it, and he says that he'll call the company and get my login info ASAP. Suspicious, but not having much other option as I was already almost a month removed from my old job, I go to work. A little while later, he comes in and gives me the login info. We finish the job and take a quick break. I log in and check my pay stubs, and it turns out these guys are paying me $8.10 an hour instead of the $13 I was promised. Oh man, I'm livid. Obviously, I gotta confront Jake about this. Never been through this before, but I'm pretty sure I know what's going on here. I quickly Google conversation recording law. See, Ohio is a one-party consent state, meaning if I'm part of a conversation, I can record it legally, and it is admissible in court. So I set my phone to do just that. Put it in my pocket, and go confront the dude. Hey, so I checked my pay stubs, and you're only paying me $8 an hour. Would you like to tell me what's going on here? He looks kind of dumbfounded, shakes his head. It's supposed to be $13 an hour. Well, you've been paying me $8.10, and you owe me over $400. Well, that's not supposed to happen. I'll call them and see what's up. So I go back to the shop, stop the recording, and start setting up the next job to pass the time. I'm holding out hope that this is all just a misunderstanding, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Regardless, I gotta at least play ball while I follow through. Jake comes in and says, "We'll have your money fixed on your next paycheck." Me: "With back pay?" Jake: "Yes, it'll be on the check." So I begrudgingly wait for next week. I woke up Friday morning and checked my bank account, and much to my not surprise at this point, another minimum wage check and another few $100s they owe me. So I decided to stay home that day. I get a text 15 minutes after the time I'm supposed to be there. Jake: "Hey, this is Jake. What's going on?" Me: "You just sent me another minimum wage check. You owe me $700. I'm not coming in until you pay me the money that you owe me." Well, I was going to write a check for the difference, but I accept your no-call, no-show, thanks. That's not how this works, dude. You still owe me $700, and now I have this text from you admitting it. No more responses. So I do as any millennial would and leave a negative review on their page and start commenting on every single post they have, which gets deleted immediately. I get a text from Jake. "You'll be hearing from my lawyer. Is your mother's address still correct?" I never told him any personal details about family or living situations, and this guy wants to assume while literally stealing what would be rent money. Me: "Cool, call them. They better have my check ready." The revenge. I had the guy cold. I basically have a concrete admission of guilt from text and audio evidence. Now I just got to figure out what to do. I send a message to a troubleshooter reporter who made his career exposing these exact kinds of scams, and he tells me that without signing an employment contract, I'm pretty well screwed, and that maybe I can try small claims court. But that probably won't work out, and he apologized for being unable to help. I looked both Jared and Jake Walden up in the local court of clerk websites just out of curiosity. Turns out Jake's been sued multiple times for this exact thing and lost twice. And then it hits me. I'm in a band and have paid Facebook to promote posts advertising my concerts before. It's cheap and it generally gets some results at the time at least. I created a Craigslist post detailing this exact story, and I included links to his and the company's court records as a centerpiece. I made a page on Facebook called Former Employee and made one single post. Avoid Waldron Sports Center apparel. Dishonest employer. I then sponsored the post. I put in $15 over the course of 10 days for ads, and I targeted them directly to people who liked their page, any of our local sports teams, screen printing, or the mall itself, who lived specifically within a few miles of their shop. Within a couple of days, the post had been shared over 2,000 times. I got a message from him 4 days later, begging me to take it down, and a check for every missing penny 2 days later. I went to the bank to cash it and told the two cashiers at the counter the story. We shared a laugh because both of them had seen the post that morning. I sent him a message saying, I got the money. Next time, don't try to scam somebody who's much smarter than you. That felt good. I continued to share my story anytime it was relevant to a public post. I guess he saw one a few months later, messaged me again, and said, We already gave you the money. Please stop. I told him, I gave you so many opportunities to do the right thing, and you still went out of your way to be a jerk. You shouldn't have done that. Go kick rocks. That felt even better.